Academy. That's PBA for short. We have Alicia, Nikos, Francisco, and Tim. And I just noticed we're all are we all ex-Parity? All right, so we've got some a lot of experience here in the room. And today we're talking about Polkadot Blockchain Academy, the Bali edition. So, I mean, this is like sort of the best of both worlds. Not only do you get this world-class education in blockchain and Web3 development, but it's happening in Bali, probably the best place on earth, in my opinion. I mean, you've got amazing culture, amazing weather, surfing, hiking, diving, and a very vibrant Web3 digital nomad community, all in the same place. So I think this event is just going to be awesome. I wanted to come to you, Tim, first, and just tell us maybe a brief history for those that aren't familiar, a brief history of PBA, the Polkadot Blockchain Academy. Like, why was it founded? What's the backstory here?
Yeah, sure. So PBA was founded around 3 years ago, and to date we've run 6 in-person courses, which are, it's a fairly advanced blockchain course for developers. We have about an alumni of about 500 now, a little under. And until now, we've always partnered with particular universities, right? University of Cambridge, UBA in Buenos Aires, Berkeley, etc. For the first time, with Bali, we haven't gone for a particular university partnership. We're going for like the most attractive venue we can find to host this thing, to try and bring really good people to the course, essentially.
Got it. And so you chose Bali because of this beautiful venue. And what sort of people typically apply to PBA? Is it like people already working in Web3, or people that are maybe Web2 that are curious about Web3? Like what type of people apply?
Yeah, well, both of those types. But basically, people who apply need to be developers. We need. Well, there's 2 tracks, right? So there's the dApps track, which requires TypeScript and a little bit of Rust. And then there's the protocol track. Actually, Nikos might have new titles for these tracks for us to announce, but there's the protocol track, which is more heavily Rust-based. So it is a developer course. You need to be a developer, and you need to have foundational levels of blockchain experience, right? Or blockchain knowledge, right? Which the stuff that's taught in PBAX, or the stuff that you can find referred to in the resources page, that's the level you need, the resources page of our website, I mean. So you don't need to be working in Web3 to be ready for this course, but you need to have studied up a bit on blockchain and to be a developer. So who are our target audience? Well, we're after any level of seniority, right? We've had 16-year-olds do the course before, who have now gone on to build businesses in the ecosystem, and we've had people at CTO level have had a couple of exits already, coming to do the course. So it's really a course for any level of experience. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Okay. And so when you mentioned some of the alumni have gone on to do things in the Polkadot ecosystem and beyond. For me, that's like one of the main selling points of why people should attend, is you have this like alumni network. Can you just tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, look, we have an increasingly influential and successful alumni network, right? So we do a census of what everyone's up to every year, right, in our alumni, because we're very active with them. We're trying to help support them find their way in the ecosystem after a PBA. But we did a census last year. We're in the middle of doing one now, actually. But in 2024, I think it's 72% of our alumni were contributing to Polkadot-related repos. Yeah, our alumni are becoming more and more influential, I guess, in the ecosystem. But it shows that PBA is a great place to come if you want to find your way into Polkadot afterwards.
Right. And before we just go on to Nikos, you mentioned PBAX. And so that's the online version of PBA. It's a little bit like go at your own pace. It's pre-recorded videos. Can you just is that like a good place for people to start and then possibly kind of graduate to the in-person PBA, or what's the idea behind that?
Yeah, basically, in the short answer is yes. The longer answer is You don't need to do PBAX to qualify for PBA Campus, but it really helps. It's a box we can tick to say, yeah, they definitely have this foundational knowledge. Easier to make a decision to bring someone along. But basically, PBAX is the foundational stuff that we used to teach at the start of a PBA Campus course. PBA Campus used to be a 5-week course. With basically the first 2 weeks of it, roughly, we've just switched to being online because it's evergreen stuff. It's never going to change.
Right.
It's fun building blocks behind blockchain stuff.
Right.
So we've turned that into an online course, and then the more advanced stuff is now the PBA Campus in-person course.
Got it. Okay. I like that you just kind of took the stuff that's evergreen and pushed it to its own thing, because it can be hard for people to find 5 weeks, off, or if they're in the middle of things. So much more efficient to do 3 weeks. Nikos, tell us about, well, first of all, tell us, the start and end dates for PBA Bali. That's approximately 3 weeks. But I want to know, I'm curious, what does like a typical day look like at PBA in Bali?
I can tell you what does a typical day looks like in PBA campus,
Okay.
and what we're planning to be on PBA Bali, but I cannot tell you how exactly it's going to be. We don't know that yet. So yeah, the typical days that what we're planning to do is the dates, first of all, is end of August, 24th of August until 14th of September. That's the dates of the 3 weeks days that we're planning to do, as you asked. And how does a typical day would look like? We want to have a very early start because of the time. Of the time of the sunrise and sunset in Bali. So there would be like an 8 o'clock morning start. We're going to have specific breaks for the students. We're going to have a more theoretical part in the morning, a couple of hours in the morning of passing through the specific theories. And then the rest of the day will be more of an hands-on sessions that students will be able to communicate with the faculty and solve exercises, see how the theory that they got in the morning is actually on code, how it works on code.
Okay, I got it. And I was curious about the instructors as well, because in the past you've had, people that have built in Polkadot. You have some, the core devs from Parity. Is it going to be the same at PBA this year in Bali?
We're bringing the people who build the things that they're teaching. So, for example, we're going to have, for the protocol track, we're going to have Cisco, we're going to have Sean Tabrizi, we're going to have Alkan, a member of Parity, Alexander Popiak, an OG of Polkadot. And for the dApps track, which is like the more front-end / TypeScript part, we're going to have the people who are building the Polkadot API. They're going to be like, so the people who are actually building the tools are going to be there teaching these tools to the students. So yeah, it's going to be probably the same thing like last time.
Okay, and I did want to ask, like, how will this be different from the previous editions of PBA, like Lucerne most recently? I will just pull up some photos of the location for those that are not familiar with. I mean, I think everyone's familiar with Bali, but in particular Nusa Dua. Tim mentioned that it's going to be a little bit less time for the classes, so that the students actually have time to get out there and see a bit of the location.
Yeah, we're trying to do it a little bit more of less classroom time, as like have to be in the classroom, and more kind of collaborating. Like they can, if they want to work by the swimming pool, if they want to work into the classroom, if they want to work in the common area, they're free to do it, and they should go with their own pace and not being strictly into a classroom. So this is what we're trying to do here. And how is it different from previous? We're always different from a previous campus, because we are getting feedback from the faculty, from the students, from everybody who is in a previous campus, and we are putting it into the next one. So we're trying to make sure that the next cohort is going to be better than the previous one based on that feedback.
Got it. And again, Tim mentioned this in the beginning. Oh yeah, go ahead, Tim.
Yeah. We're kind of, I don't think it's still going to be really intense, right? And there's going to be as much learning as before. We've just lengthened the thing by a couple of days to allow some breaks in the middle, right?
Right.
There's only so much velocity at which information can enter people's brains, right? So we want to make sure we give people a little bit of time out to go and experience Bali, have a nice
Awesome.
time, meet each other, bond, etc. Go surfing, go diving, go fishing, whatever you want to do. You know, to make it a little bit less intense than Lucerne was. I think we overdid it slightly there.
And just to add on top of Tim, what I tried to say before is not that it's not going to be intense. It's going to be intense. It's just going to be spread through the day intense, rather than intense into a classroom, and spread into the area intense.
I think the environment as well, like the location, this tropical paradise, also just tones down the intensity just a little bit. Like it's still intense, but it feels less intense, right? When you have palm trees and a blue ocean.
Beers on the beach in the evening. You know, we want to let people out of the class while there's still the nicest part of the day, sort of 4:30 till 6:30, basically sunset.
Right.
We want people to, you know, maybe if they're working, they're working on a sun lounge on the beach. You know, it's whatever. It just makes it a little bit nicer.
And Tim, tell me about the startup sessions. This is this a new thing that's come along?
No, it's a reincarnation of things we've done before, right? So in previous PBAs, we had a whole founders track. Well, what we're doing nowadays is we're still focusing on what we're really good at, which is educating developers, right? But we also have some extracurricular stuff for developers who are on the course who also have project ideas or have projects in flight that they're thinking about bringing to Polkadot or are building on Polkadot. So we're going to be partnering with Harbour Industrial Capital and Sightail Digital to deliver a bunch of extra stuff for people, and then offer like a pitching competition as well, which is what we've been doing for the last couple of PBAs. Adds an extra element for people, a load of extra knowledge for people.
And speaking of, you know, Harbour Industrial Capital and Sightail, both are VC funds in the ecosystem. Like, do students get sort of like a fast track access to investors and mentors from PBA?
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, they're going to be there in person in Bali. For Harbour Industrial Capital, they're going to be there most of the time, right? So you get loads of FaceTime with them. And Sightail Digital will be there for, I think, probably for the last week or so, for a couple of the guys. So look, you get loads of access to them whilst you're there, and then once you know them, right? And they'll be in DMs. So
awesome.
It's a real advantage of coming to do this thing if you're trying to build your project and are looking to build it with Polkadot.
And so, I mean, like, okay, so we have people listening to us now. They're super interested. They want to get this education. They want to get in front of investors. They want to work from the lounge, you know, the pool in Bali. How do they apply? Like, what is the process? Is it an interview? Do you have to take a test? Tell us about the application process, Tim or Nico.
I'm happy to do that. That's my wheelhouse.
Okay.
So yeah, look, we're actually very close to the end of our applications process. So if you're thinking of joining or applying, apply today, because we're closing at midnight tonight UTC.
Okay.
So if you apply via the website, Evan's showing it here now. Show us as much as you can about who you are as a dev, right? We want to see your GitHub. Hopefully, it's got a load of stuff, load of activity on it. We want to see people's LinkedIn's or CVs, etc. We need to have a good reason to interview you, right? So yeah, please apply now. We're definitely keen to see a few more applicants.
Any tips like what would be something that you're looking for that would really stand out to you, like that would be like, wow, I want to interview this person and get them to PBA?
Well, look, I mean, if you have evidence of work in TypeScript and or Rust on your GitHub, that's great. If you can demonstrate some interest in blockchain on your CV, that's also great. But it's not completely essential, right? But you know, just show as much enthusiasm for this space as possible, and kind of where it's come from, and then you'll get yourself an interview, right? Got
it. And coming over to you now, Alicia, I mean, what's included with PBA? Like, are you getting obviously you're getting the tuition, but do you get to stay in a hotel, or just tell us a bit about the logistics of the whole thing?
Yeah, sure thing. So one of the great things about this opportunity is that most things are included. So you have accommodation for 3 weeks. We will be putting all students up in a very nice hotel next to where we have our lecture facilities. That's all covered. So breakfast every day is covered. Lunches on all class days are covered. Tuition, like we said, as well. And then we're running a bunch of like side events and activities, which will also be included as well. So the only things that students really have to pay for is their travel to Bali from wherever they're traveling from, and then dinners in the evening. But Bali is pretty cheap, so it shouldn't be a massive expense. And then, yeah, anything else that they want to do on their days off, if they want to go surfing, they may have to pay for that themselves. But most things are included, and that's why it's such a really great opportunity for lots of people.
I mean, wow, that's a really generous program. You get the tuition and the hotel covered for 3 weeks, no less. I mean, that's super. I mean, if there's another reason you should get this education, like not only is it free, but you get the free accommodation. And how many?
Just to add to that, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, this is a marvel of the polka dot treasury, right? This is all paid for by the treasury, and we're very fortunate to be shepherding funds from the treasury into the brains of the people that we bring to the PBA. So a few years ago this wouldn't have been possible. Now it is. It's really cool.
Yeah. Just to add on to that, for viewers that may not be totally, that they may be watching us for the first time, the polka dot treasury, it's currently like 120 million US dollar value, and the community of dot holders can vote on certain referenda, and they voted to fund PBA and the various cohorts. So this is really, you could say, a community-backed initiative. Like, this is what the dot holders want to see, is the education of Web3 developers for the ecosystem.
Exactly.
So I think it's really cool the way that it's played out. Quickly back to Alicia. I mean, how big is this cohort looking to be? I mean, you probably get like well over 1,000 applicants. I mean, how many will make the cut, as it were?
Yeah, we're looking for a cohort of around 90 students. So that will depend obviously on the applicants, letting in the top 10% of those who apply. So yeah, around 90 students. On site we'll have around 20 faculty plus staff. So a big group of people, but it's the amount we've had since the last few cohorts. So a good amount of students to educate, to have this experience, but not obviously too many that we can't manage it all. So yeah, a good amount here.
Got it. Okay. Anything else you want to tell us about the logistics, or just about being in Bali, Alicia?
I think maybe just something different about this time around is that we're trying to make it as much of a cultural experience here as possible. So we're going to Indonesia, we're going to Bali, and we kind of really want to incorporate those aspects into the student experience. So things like organizing activities for the students to get involved and learn more about the culture, whether that's, I don't know, a dance class, a Balinese dance class, or making the local offerings, things like that, taking them to the theatre or to a temple. These are the kind of things that we're currently planning and organizing to try and incorporate this into the really busy schedule, which Nikos is planning with all the curriculum. But we do have some days off, and we do have some opportunities here to kind of bring alive this experience and make the most of going to such a stunning country, a stunning place with a lot of culture. So we really, really want to incorporate that this time around.
Nice. And I'm just showing the website again. I'm just pulling up this like beautiful video showing, the rice terraces and the ocean. It really is a special place. So
just want to say for 2 seconds, a big thumbs up and a big thank you to Alicia, because this is not an easy thing to organize. And she and the rest of the ops team are doing an amazing job. I just want to bring it, like, it's not easy. It's hard, and they're doing an amazing job for the students that will come to have a perfect experience.
Amazing. Yes. Great job, Alicia. Great job to the whole team at PBA. I mean, you guys are just crushing it. I wanted to come to Francisco next and ask about, like, if I were a student at PBA, what would a typical lecture look like? And, who is giving the lecture? And, do I have a laptop in front of me? Am I taking notes like I'm in a school? Like, just tell us a bit about the classroom setting.
Yeah, so the classroom really looks like a university setting, at least the ones I've been to. And some people take notes. I know the PBA gives you like a little notebook, like a Polkadot branded notebook to take some notes. Most people have their laptops out. looking through the slides, because the slides are open and available to everyone. So they just open their slides on their laptop if they couldn't keep up with Sean's speed or something, and they just take notes, look at it, and then they can access links and go to like GitHub and so on. The lectures are given by, as it was mentioned before, developers that are actually building these things. So after the actual presentation and hands-on exercises, there are a lot of good questions to the speaker, and then
Right.
there are teaching assistants that go around and lots of good discussion.
How many teachers and assistants in total are there over the 3 weeks, approximately?
For the, at least, I don't know overall, but for the protocol track, there were, I think, like 3 instructors and 1 TA last time in Singapore.
Okay. Very cool.
And instructors kind of doubled as teaching assistants as well. I mean, when one is giving the lecture, the others are helping out students and so on.
Okay, got it. And can you just maybe double click on the protocol track and just go into a little bit more detail?
Yeah, so historically it's only been one track before Lucerne, and that's basically it was very useful to know Rust. It was going to be in Rust. You learned the Polkadot SDK, how to build palettes, how to build blockchain runtimes, how to think in a game theoretical kind of way. Since Lucerne, there's now 2 tracks, and the dApps track is like how to build applications with TypeScript. I'll be an instructor in the protocol track, and it's interesting in Lucerne, people coming from the dApps track, like during breaks, people coming from the dApps track and from the protocol track talked about the things they were learning, and there was a little bit of cross-pollination that was very useful, so that people from the protocol track think actually about the users and the front-end experience of the things they're looking into, and then people from dApps think about all the security considerations that are happening behind the scenes and why things are the way they are. Okay,
very cool. And you are spending 3 weeks with these other students and the instructors. You really create this alumni, this camaraderie with each other. And some people say that PBA is kind of like a direct pipeline into Polkadot and the and upcoming Jam. Tell us a bit about the career opportunities, Tim, that are available to graduates.
Well, Cisco is a graduate of PBA 1,
okay.
and is now at Parity. What are you working on at the moment, Cisco?
At the moment, I am improving the documentation, because that's something we always need to improve on, but mainly working on getting cross-chain support for smart contracts for the upcoming hub launch.
Nice. So yeah, Cisco is a good advert. I mean, I don't know the exact number of how many people that the PBA has hired into Parity, for example. I mean, it's getting close to 40 probably. They're not all still there, but in terms of hires done, probably about a little under 10 from the Lucerne cohort have been hired into Parity. But look, there's career opportunities elsewhere in Polkadot. Where, as I mentioned before, it's about 70% of a little over 70% of our graduates last year were contributing to Polkadot repos. That's because a lot of them are hired into ecosystem teams, be it Parity, Web3 Foundation, and a myriad of others, right? But also, some people are contributing as open source contributors. Some people are building their own projects. We're really trying to encourage entrepreneurs to come and build on Polkadot, right, and build dApps, etc. So yeah, lots of opportunity out there.
Okay, and you get, you're obviously the jobs, but you can stay connected. Like there's a jobs board, there's a Discord group for everyone.
Yeah, and we hold in-person alumni events, normally bolted onto the side of one of the bigger Polkadot events, and yeah, we're going to be doing some hackathon stuff this year, probably to bring together alumni to build hackathon teams to go and win hackathons.
Oh, wow.
competitions to see who can do the most open source contribution, right? We do loads of different stuff to keep our alumni up to speed. Also, it's a continuous learning thing, right? Once you're into the alumni, well, when new stuff happens with Polkadot, which is often, well, then we do online lectures to keep people up to speed with the new stuff, right? We had Gav do a session start of this year talking about Jam, for example.
Awesome.
So you know, it's not a one-time thing. Once you're in, there's loads more, you know, to come.
Right. And so as we're kind of coming towards the end here, I mean, what if someone is, you know, interested in this experience, but they don't know which track to apply for? Should they still apply, or, you know, should they reach out to one of you to get more guidance on it, or just go ahead and apply and then you'll figure out that part out later?
Yeah, I'd say just apply. Go with your gut on what you think probably looks most relevant for you. If you have an appropriate looking profile for us generally, like I review them all, right? It's me. You got to get past me. Yeah, if you look like you're of the right material, and we can figure it out as we go along through the interview process. It is a 2-stage interview process. We used to have a technical assignment. We've changed it for this PBA. It's like, firstly, you have a more technical conversation with Nikos and his team, and then you have a conversation with me, and then we make a decision, right? So there's no coding assignment this time, FYI. But we are looking at the code. We are checking you out.
Yeah, and actually, what I want to add on this is that during this interview process, we can understand if a person is better for the one track or the other based on their profile, based on their opinion, based on what they say. So I would suggest for somebody to apply, and during the process, if we had a person who was applying for a protocol track, and based on the experience and based on the conversation, we asked them if they feel maybe reconsider if they feel more comfortable with the dApps track, etc. So it's not like a one-way street. Based on the profile, we can understand what is the best track, and it's coming after discussion as well.
And I am going to add the link here for all of our viewers on how to apply, because it's really important. The deadline is tonight at midnight, everyone. So this is your last chance to go to PBA in Bali with paid for tuition, paid for accommodation, hang out in Bali for 3 weeks. Get, you know, Tim mentioned you're going to have a little bit of off time during the day, during the sunset hours. It really is a dream scenario. This is your last chance to apply. It costs nothing. It's free. This could change your career trajectory. It could change the job you're working in. It could, you know, if you're not in Web3, but you have some of these skills in Rust and so on, this could be your fast track into a new career. All you have to, it all starts with just applying. You have nothing to lose from applying. Tim, the gatekeeper, as it were, is going to go through all of them. You would then have an interview with Nikos and his team. They'll place you in the right track. If you don't know your track, don't be afraid. We'll get it sorted. Just start by applying. I really think, you know, this is one of those things that if you don't apply, it's like one of those things you could potentially regret for the rest of your life. I really do mean that.
Agreed.
I've heard so many stories of people that have attended PBA, and it's really changed the trajectory of their life. So go ahead and apply on the web. How long does it take to apply? Like, I'm looking at the application here. Let me just pull it up. What does it take? Like
a couple of minutes.
Couple minutes.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, I can't even make it, but I'm going to apply just to see how easy it is. I'm not a developer, but I mean, like literally, it's a couple of minutes of your time, and we have the link up here on the site. On the screen. Any sort of closing thoughts or anything that anyone would like to go over? Yeah, Tim.
Yeah, a couple of things. Yeah, we don't hire professional teachers for this, right? Actually, one of the strengths of this course is that it's taught by the people that are building this stuff, right? Like Cisco and Gav and whoever, right? So it's really, you're really hearing it from the horse's mouth rather than get regurgitated by someone, right?
Right.
And yeah, the in-person nature of the course we view as super important. Yeah, there's awesome learning, and you get to carry on just, you know, spitballing ideas and whatever with the instructors and with your peers in the evening, whatever. But you know, perhaps even more important than the learning is the networking opportunity with PBA campus, right?
It really is. It's not what you know, it's who you know, right?
Yeah, we've had people come out and start projects, hire a bunch of other people from the alumni, and build lifelong collaborations and friendships, right? So it's really powerful. And this is what this is originally Gav's idea, right? He founded this thing alongside Pauline, our CEO. The idea is to have some Polkadot funded education in person, because it needs to be to have the desired effect.
And if I do apply, how soon can I expect to hear back whether I'm admitted or not accepted this time?
The final offers will be going out on July the 18th, not long.
July the 18th. Okay, so just a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we're going to be very intensive interviewing over the next couple of weeks. I've probably already done 40 or 50 interviews, and we'll have another 100 or something for me between now and in the next 2 to 8 weeks. And then we'll be done. We'll have our cohort ready.
And I'm just going to highlight the dates here one more time. It's 3 weeks starting August 24th. Graduation is September 13th. I will mention this because I've been to Bali quite a few times, and this is actually the perfect season. So it's the dry season. It's not like there's barely any rain. It's fairly cool. It's not so humid, and it's also peak surf season. So this is when the swells roar up from the Indian Ocean. So if you want to get there a week early or stay a week later, like this is the time in Bali. It's also shoulder season. So coming into September, it's a little bit less crowded. You'll find some spaces on the beach and so on. So August 24th to September 13th, 3 weeks. The deadline to apply is tonight. We've dropped the link both on the screen and in the chat. Again, it takes 2 minutes, it costs absolutely nothing. This could change your life. I encourage everyone to go apply to PBA Bali. Any last words, guys and gals?
I want to comment that we say there are some people have changed the course of their careers and made lifelong friendships and so on. And I just want to mention that it's true from first-hand experience. And so you're just hanging out with people that are all as eager to learn as you, speaking about these things day in, day out, during lunch, during your breaks, probably in Bali during surf or something. So it really is a great experience. It really can change your life, and I encourage anyone to apply.
And sorry, just to close that loop there, one of the upcoming parachains, or one of the upcoming projects I'm really excited about in Polkadot is Mandala Chain. The founder, Anta, who is from Bali, who did attend PBA, I've done live streams with him. He says that his whole life changed by PBA because that's how he got into the Polkadot ecosystem. That's how they got Mandala Chain going. I think also like Kylix Finance is a PBA alum. Is Excavate as well? Excavate. Yeah. Give us a few more alums, Tim.
God, he puts us on the spot now. Anyone else who can think of some quick?
Mathieu, he's working on Elves. That's a good example as well. He's in Parity, but he's working on Elves, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
Got some of the guys.
There's so many.
Yeah, and Sergey. What's Sergey's?
From Magenta.
Core Marketplace.
Oh, Core Time.
I have also
Region X.
Yeah, Region X. There you go.
Yes.
Aurora. I think.
Aurora as well. Yeah, she's
an Elastic, I think.
Elastic, yeah. I mean, there's many, and so many that are still embryonic, right? That are coming through that will become bigger names. So, now's especially with everything that's coming on Polkadot, right? Now's a good time to be exploring the tech. It's going to get more and more accessible, right? So,
so just coming out of PBA, we'll have Polkadot Hub. So, smart contracts on Polkadot, and then a little bit thereafter, we don't know a date. Jam it's down the road a bit, but it's good to get these skills now and be ahead of the curve and get ready for it.
Yeah, and a lot of this stuff. I mean, Nikos will have more on this, but a lot of this stuff is covered at PBA campus, right? We are in the process of putting together a more comprehensive Jam sessions or Jam course, but Jam is definitely part of campus, right? Nikos, I don't know if you want to say anything.
Yeah, we're gonna have again a module of jump at the end of the campus, which will include jump builders talking about how it proceeds, how it processes, how it's looking, having some intro to jump, so the students understand exactly what jump is and how it evolves. So yeah, we're gonna have that, and I wanted to add also that we are trying some new names for the tracks. Following what Party in Polkadot is doing, we're going to be trying to rename our dApps track to a Polkadot Hub track and our protocol track to our Polkadot Cloud track. So this is just a test. We'll see how it will go. Just wanted to put it here.
Got it. All right. Alicia, Nikos, Francisco, Tim, thanks so much for joining. Tim, any last words? I see you typing in our chat here.
Yeah, look, I mean, actually, we were talking a little bit earlier about how many people are teaching on various tracks, but
yeah,
we're going to have probably a little over 20 instructors coming down, right, from around Polkadot. It's a serious amount of like experience and brain to learn from. So get involved. As you say, it really can change your life.
And just by hanging out with these type of people for 3 weeks, it's like osmosis. You just like suck up some of their energy and what they know and their experience. So even, you know, outside of the lectures, like just having a beer with them afterwards and stuff, like I feel like you can kind of learn a lot from them. So
yeah.
Wow, what a great event.
You might even see Gav DJ if you're lucky.
You might even see Gav DJ. Okay. That only happens a couple times a year, so this will be one of them. That's a special thing.
Yeah, and as you said, it's not only about the lectures, it's also about hanging out with these people, having a beer, discuss stuff outside of the classroom. So it's also this is a very big amount of plus for being in the campus.
Right. All right. Well, with that, again, everyone, the deadline is tonight. It takes 2 minutes. Go and do it, and you'll hear from Tim and Nikos hopefully by July 18th, I believe it was. So with that, thanks so much for joining. Good luck in Bali, guys. Like I said, I am so freaking jealous. I can't come out and do some social coverage of it and also hang out and maybe, you know, tighten up my developer skills that are non-existent at the moment. Maybe I can learn a couple of things, but I'd love to be out there. So yeah, terima kasih. Thank you in Bahasa Indonesia. And good luck and have fun to everyone at PBA.
See you down there.